And welcome to my 2 cent. And welcome to the stream. All right, welcome to the stream. Um, I'm tired. I've been doing this for quite some time. There's my notification to let me know that I'm live. Um, I'm taking programming one at Fullsail University, and I'm currently what's what I'm looking for. I'm taking program one at Fullsail University, and I'm currently streaming my progress. So this is where I am right now. A 96.11 and a 66.7. And why did I get a 66 for the second week? Right now I have 200s, an ungraded assignment, and a 0 because when I uploaded this assignment, it uploaded the blank file, even though all of them uploaded incorrectly for some reason. And somehow I managed to fix the other two, but this one still loaded incorrectly, so I received 0. And as the policy says, you can't, you know, they don't change their policy. So yeah, so that's pretty much what I'm doing. My goal is to um, let me turn off my echo. My goal is to design an offshoot fighting game. I've always wanted to get into video games and producing comics, and since I'm not really drawing anymore, writing stories. So today, my today someone tried to curse me, but thank God for being God. I'm a mother. Me, my newest upgrade, my good luck charm. I call her. Come here. Now, I let Nessa know, and Nessa's response was like, "Oh, it's creepy that you're stalking your wife. You guys don't have anything in common. Blah 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 blah." So I tried to explain to her that um, I am until I get a divorce, I am legally married to this person, and what this woman does will negatively affect me long term until I finalize our divorce. So she tagged me in a post that she put online. I didn't, I'm not stalking her or anything. And to pretend like she doesn't exist or that there's nothing going on in my life with regards to me being legally married won't make the problem go away. Like my 2 cents is about self-improvement through self-education. And she knew about my channel before we got married. The problem I think she has with me and the conflict that I've had with most of the women in my life is that I'm not a Christian. I don't believe in Christianity. I don't subscribe to God or any of that crap. And they want to see me as this decent person, but my decency and my kindness and my goodness as a person can't exist if I say that I don't love Jesus. So since that's an issue with them, they want to fix me and they want to stop me from being broken. And it's like I'm not broken because I don't love white people. I don't. The image of Christ is not synonymous with a Caucasian. If you close your eyes and you picture Jesus, you will picture a Caucasian man with a Caucasian beard, with Caucasian eyes and Caucasian features. And there's nothing wrong with that in general. But as an African American that has been raised with the understanding of the way that life works and with imagery being what it is, and me sitting in a life, living a life where I'm constantly bombarded with images of myself as villains and adversaries and evil and inherently wrong, and constantly having to deal with this every day as an adversity against who I am, right? If I'm walking down the street next to a Caucasian man and the police pull up, the probability of them come jumping out of their car and harassing me is higher than it is for him, even if he is the fucking criminal. Even if this guy is the one that just robbed a bank and I'm not aware of it and we're walking side by side and he is the criminal with the money holding the bag, the probability of them approaching me and asking me questions about it is significantly higher. And him being a criminal, he could be like, yeah, I just seen him leave that bank over there. I'm like, what? Like, I don't even know you. And he's like, that's something you would say. And then it's like, in that energy, I don't subscribe to Christianity. For what? For what? 300 years of slavery in this world. Why? What will be the reason for that? Well, for what? My wife is Nigerian. She's all in another country, and she still operates and behave the exact same way. So, what's the energy, right? So, one day is just really about me getting ready for work and doing the things I need to do to actualize my life, and not pretending like the world isn't what it is, and not allow people to convince me that the adversities that I have are not the ones that I have, right? Like the fact that you can give somebody you can see that an effort was made. Like if they're trying to teach you about life, right? And they're trying to get you ready for the world, this is retarded because the reality is that you should only receive a zero when zero effort is made. You should only receive a zero in life when zero effort is made. Giving somebody a zero when they make an effort is counterproductive to the educational process of trying to make somebody or trying to help a young person become a functional adult, right? An error was made by the program, and because of that, it's my fault to the point where you're going to fail me from the course. I'm only trying to learn how to program, but you're going to fail me from the course because some condition allowed for this program not to do what it's supposed to do. I have successfully done this more than one time, but because of the one mistake that was made right at that moment, I received a zero, right? How does that help? My 2 cents is about self-education, self-improvement through self-education, right? How does the capacity for me as a human being to make a human error, how do I benefit from being given a zero because I made a human error? How do I benefit from it? What am I going to learn, or what am I going to, or how am I going to grow as a person because you gave me a zero, because I made a human error? Because you can't. Risk is risk. There's no way to eliminate risk. So you can't completely reduce risk to zero. So in all of the successes that I've had, even with the last grades that I received from successfully uploading my projects and being told, oh, we're cheating, we're going to give you a zero because you're cheating. Why is there so many opportunities for an educational system to give out a zero contrast against actually teaching and actually learning? The learning process and the teaching process isn't there because there's nothing I can learn from getting a zero. Well, you got to be more careful. I'm 40 fucking years old. You know how to do averages. You take all of your grades, you average them out. So, of the 42 years I've been on life, that's one of the errors that I've made in the 42 years that I've been alive. That's the very first time since I've been attending Fullsail University that has occurred. But it doesn't matter because it has occurred now, right? Like all of a sudden now it has become a problem. And the thing that younger people don't understand about what I'm describing, oh, you're just making excuses. You don't want to take accountability. You don't want to be responsible for who you are and what you're doing. There's no need for that to be a policy, right? Some human being sat down and decided that this would be a good policy. We've got a lot of people that turn in projects and they upload the wrong files, and there's always this confusion about the files, and we could come up with a better system that will reduce that conflict, or we could just get them a zero. Why not just give you the minimum grade required to pass the course? Why instead of a zero, why not a 61? If you need a 61 to pass and I uploaded the wrong file, why not a 61? Why not the lowest possible grade and be like, hey, that could potentially cause you to fail, right? Because look at the way averages work. Let's look at the way the average system works. My grade was a 90. It was a 90, right? It went from a 96 to a 6, from a 96 with the 66 to an 80. 1 0 dropped my GPA by 10 points. 1 0. And it's 5, it's 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 7 grades. So if they decide to give me a 0 on this one, this 80 will probably go down to like a 75 or maybe even a 65. Because, excuse me, because that's how, because how averages work. So I have plans on what I'm going to do to actualize the things I'm trying to achieve in this world. And I'm just tired of I'm tired of the I'm tired of the useless rhetoric on life of people wanting to say things that sound good, people wanting to tell you how it's your fault, how you're the problem, how you need to do better or you need to make more of an effort. Or I'm tired, and this is what I'm tired of. I'm tired of everything that is right in your life being because of somebody else, and everything that is wrong in your life being because of you. At the very, very bottom of the whole dynamic, if I could sum it all up into one simple, elegant truth, your capacity as a person to make a mistake is never gonna go away. Everything that you do, all of it is on you, 100%. All of it. I don't understand why we are expected to give credit to other people for our successes and only be accountable for our failures. Why is it that the world wants you to be a failure so bad? What is the goal in life for all of us to walk around being losers and failures? How do we individually benefit? How does Paul Emerson benefit in life from being told that he's lazy, he's stupid, he's dumb, he's incompetent, he's retarded, he doesn't know how to clean up after himself, he doesn't know how to do any fucking thing, he's not capable of being a programmer, he's stupid, he's dumb. Like all of this energy, and it's not just like one person, it's like across the board, everywhere I go, everything I do, there's this undertone of you are not good enough, you're not capable, you're inferior, right? And it's always been that way. And it's always like, just ignore it. Don't worry about it. But the real question at the age of 42 is why does it even have to be a thing? Why do we have to even operate under that every day? Why are we expected every day to put up with the bullshit? Like, why does it even have to exist? Why is it even necessary? Right? So that is the underlining undertone of it all. If you are a decent person out there doing what you're supposed to do, you don't need praise. Nobody has to praise you for getting up and being a responsible adult. But why do we have to operate under the bullshit of opposition to being a decent human being? Why do we have to operate under that? I went through all the motions to get marry my wife so we could start a family and have children. She did all of the fucking work. And then at the last minute, she decided she wanted to have another man's child and then be upset at me. Like I'm the problem. Like I didn't force you to marry me, right? So, but why does all of the unnecessary negative energy has to be directed to me? Like even when I was talking to Nessa, because we may or may not do an actual video on it. When I was explaining to her, she's like, "You want to be a husband so bad that you want to claim somebody that don't even love you." It's like I don't want to be something that I am. I wanted to get married. I wanted to have a wife, and I wanted to be a husband. But I am married. I do have a wife, and I am a husband. I didn't move you into the apartment because I didn't want to not be a husband, right? Like the reason why I moved you into the apartment with me was because I wanted to have the energy of a woman in my life, right? That was the whole point. So, hi. So, you physically been in my apartment, and happy Friday. You physically been in my apartment and physically moving around in a space and physically benefiting from me not charging you rent or utilities or bills. That's not me acting in the energy of a husband. Me going to work and coming home and doing the things that needs to be done to keep the lights on and the rent paid and the bills paid is not me doing the work of a husband. You're still saying that, oh, the reason why your wife abandoned you is because you wasn't operating from the husband energy. But my wife married me because I was operating from the husband energy. My wife chose to do what she wanted to do with her life because she chose Jesus Christ over me, which is acceptable. I don't really fucking care. But why waste the energy going through the motions to not get to the finish line? Because she had her own agenda. And the thing that the world doesn't want to understand is that it is completely possible for a man to do everything they're supposed to do, and then a woman does a 360-degree change into a fucking psychopath. And since the world's going to automatically assume, oh, the man must not have been good enough if she wants to turn to us, she's just not making it up. But when did lying stop being a thing that existed? When did deceiving stop being a thing that existed? Why does it automatically, like, how many hours, weeks, months, years of being disrespected is a man supposed to endure before he's allowed to say, hey, I don't like the way you're treating me, stop it? And then not have to be told he's stupid, dumb, retarded, crazy. Like, it's the same energy for both spectrums. Switch the roles from a male to a female. It's the same energy. But why is it it's universally accepted that the men are automatically the problem? It's automatically the problem. A guy walks up to a girl and is like, hey, I want to marry you and I want you to be my wife. What has eroded in society to the point where there's no value in that anymore? Women don't want to be, they don't want to be viewed as prostitutes. They don't want to be viewed as gold diggers. They don't want to be viewed as users and abusers, but they don't want to be a wife. So what is the alternative? You don't want to get married, have kids, and start a family, but you're still out here having unprotected sex. So what is the goal? What are you actually trying to actualize in your life if you're having sex with men as a woman in general? Like, you don't understand that over the age of 18, girls don't understand that letting men ejaculate inside of them is going to cause them to become pregnant. They don't understand that. But then you want to just automatically just throw men in prison like it's our fault that we engaged in consensual sex with females to produce children because you don't believe that men want to be husbands and fathers. Is that the way that the world is that the direction the world is moving in? Like, young boys don't imagine themselves as husbands and fathers and uncles and brothers. We don't have the capacity to think of ourselves in that light, despite the fact that we have fathers and uncles and brothers. That's just a female thing, right? That's just something that only women want. And it is not possible for a woman not to want to be a mother and not to want to have children, even though they can go get multiple abortions. We're just gonna just pretend like none of that stuff exists or is relevant, right? And I'm not gonna shy away from the reality of me starting this channel based on certain principles and the realization at a very young age that Christianity was the problem, and then still having the same problems. I went to a whole nother fucking country to try to find a decent woman to marry and love, and it didn't fucking work. But then you're gonna say that Paul is the problem. But I don't influence the whole world, so how am I the problem? How is it that it's me that's the problem? And if I am the problem, Like I said, if I am mentally disabled and mentally incapable, how about you just give me a fucking check so that I can stop interacting with the rest of the world and I can stay in my apartment and design the video games and play video games all day and write. So there's no the answer to your question is no, but there is no such thing as white people and black people. That's the way that it works. I am an American, so and I need to get ready for this run. So we'll do this. There are only Africans on the earth. Everybody has a mother. Everybody has a father. 100% of humans right now, until we come up with something different, are all born from the same way. Everybody that you encounter has a mom and a father, right? And if every mom and father has a mom and a father, we trace that all the way back to the idea of a God. That is the foundation of why children want to figure out if there is a such thing as a God. Because the question always is, if there are infinite mothers and infinite father, who was the first mother and who was the first father, right? So if it's something that I've learned over the years, I can say exactly. I guess the fastest person, the easiest answer would be my biological father. But if there are infinite mothers and there's infinite fathers, then the question becomes who was the first mother and who was the first father, right? And from that question, we give the answer to that question, God, right? If everything that exists had to be created, as soon as you ask the question, the answer becomes God. If you don't ask the question, there's no need to invent an idea like God, right? Who was the first? There was no first mother, no first father. If you understand evolution and that things evolved, there was no you're first, right? There's no way to say that you're the first. That's why they put Abraham in the Bible as the first, as the father of humanity. But where were all the other people running around the planet? Like all these other people run, like Genesis. They say that God created all the animals to all the fish, the birds in the air, and fish in the sea, and the creatures that across the earth. And then He created all this diversity and all these life forms, and they were able to reproduce because He designed them that way, right? So He did all of the work. He created everything already. He created all the animals. He created all of the plants and everything, and all the organisms. And then He got to Adam, and He forgot fucking sexual reproduction. He just forgot. He created all the goddamn animals. Then He gets the Adam, and He forgets. Oh, let me make two of him. Like, but people don't. You don't question what it when you're told to just do stuff and don't think about it. You don't question it. You don't question the reality of it. 100% of people on this planet have mothers and fathers. The first mothers and fathers are Africans. The Africans are first mothers and fathers. The science shows you that. Science shows you that everything came out of Africa. And when you ask, if you do the research, they just say that the people that migrate out of Africa are Europeans. Well, how the fuck do Europeans migrate out of Africa? How are you African with dark skin, nappy hair, large noses, and ears and large features and like African features? How do you leave Africa like they did? Was there a line, and when they stepped over the line, they became Caucasian? No, they evolved into the forms of the regions of the world that they were living in, but they were still Africans as they evolved into newer forms. We just gave them these unnecessary arbitrary titles later in life, and we don't want to question it. We don't want to fucking question it, because why would you? Why would you question the Christians after they murdered half the planet to establish their religion? They went to war and they won. And that's really the only reason why Christianity is as big as it is. And the main reason why Christianity exists in the world, based on the things we've been taught by the people that wrote their own history, is that they were more brutal, more violent, more evil, more destructive than anyone else that was fighting against them. They were fighting people that genuinely had humanity, that understood and operated from principles of humanity, that didn't understand what was at stake. And they lost the war because they didn't understand what was at stake. And that's where we are right now today. Like, that's the reality of the world we live in right now today. All of this unnecessary chaos and bullshit is a direct consequence of evil people convincing cowards that their God is superior and that they need to follow them. And we don't push back. We just be like, well, whatever. It's fine. It's not a big deal. It's cool. It's fine. Sure. Okay. That's what they want, right? Everybody wants you as a good, honest, decent person to sit down, shut up, don't move, be still, take half, right? That's what everybody wants. Everybody wants you to just accept that you don't have enough, or that there isn't enough, and that you will never have enough, and that it will never be good enough, right? But I grew up on Dragon Ball Z. I grew up on, what is popular, Vegeta? It's over 9,000. That's what I grew up on. But push yourself to your limits. No matter what happens, move forward. Keep moving forward. Like, that's, I don't have I don't have any illnesses. Like, that's the whole point of Run Day. I maintain a 2 mile run every 3 days for the last 2 years as a veteran. So you can make the jokes and they're funny, but it doesn't change why my 2 cent is it exists. Like, this is the whole, like, that comment right there is the whole reason why I'm making these videos, because you think that it's funny to say stuff like that. My my Caucasian grandmother, my mother, my father married a Caucasian woman. Her mother died of HIV. So, like, you're making a funny joke without understanding anything about the context of what you're saying and how it can affect other people. Like, I lived in a household with a woman that was HIV positive for a very long time. I never caught it because it's not contagious like that, and I don't have it. So, like, it sounds funny, but you know that's think I think she got it from being in for committing adultery. She had it. She caught it when I was young. I was like 13 or 14, so they didn't really explain the dynamic of it all to me. But I know she passed away about 10 years ago from it, and I'm 42. So yeah, we lived with her. Her mother, my stepmother, moved her into our house. We were kids. We didn't have an option. She just moved her in. Yep. She was doing what they blame men for. And you know the thing, and this is the thing about, I'm going to say this because my 2 cents is about educating young people and giving you guys the information y'all need to make better choices in life. Almost everyone that I've encountered in life that has actually had HIV, because there's been a couple, they always knew that the person that they were going to have sex with, 100% of them always knew that the person they were going to have sex with might have possibly been HIV positive before they had sex with them. Almost all of them. So just remember that. If you just suspect that somebody might have an STD, don't have sex with them. Like, it's not a hard thing not to do. Like, just don't. If you think or possibly might have this idea in your head, just don't. Just operate from that. There's no reason. Like, what are you gonna lose? What are you gonna lose? If they don't want to go get the paperwork and stuff and get tested or whatever, just don't engage in it. You know, it's not a hard. Life is not as hard as they want to make it for us. We just have to stop. We just gotta universally just stop letting people treat us like shit to not benefit from it. Imagine working 40 hours a day and then you don't get paid. Like, and they're like, well, you agreed to it. And you're like, well, yeah, I guess I did agree to it. As soon as you sit down, they say, we want you to work 40 hours today and we're not going to, 40 hours and we're not going to pay you. Like, I don't agree to that. I don't want to do that. That doesn't sound like something that I want to do. But outside of all the ranting and raving, there's I've got big plans for the channel. I want to actually start doing science. I just don't have the setup for it right now. Most of my time is spent working, and I really want to finish school. I really want to learn how to program. If I can't get past the discrimination part, I don't really care. But ChatGPT's ability to actually do the things that I needed to do is high enough that I can use it to help me build a game. But I need access to the information, and the information that I need is being held. It's being held by all of the education centers. So there's not a lot I can do until I get access to that information. Yeah, you're not wrong. That was a lot of soap. But my sink is oily because I haven't washed my dishes. The universe has permanence. If you do not do the thing that needs to get done, the thing will not get done. So my dishes are not clean because I haven't washed them. But I have to balance working 8 hours a day on top of doing homework. And I just didn't have the strength to wash them when I got home from work. Okay, what am I looking for? No, this one isn't that dirty. It's not that bad. It's time for sure, but it's not that bad. I already have replacement supplies. So it's not bad. It might be the illusion of bad, but it's not that bad. You have to not allow people to convince you that things that need to be done are the problem. The problem isn't that something needs to be done. The problem is that the problem is whatever you're trying to resolve, not the process to resolve it. So the process to resolve a problem is an inconvenience. So when it comes to gods and goddesses, I don't believe I don't subscribe to any of them. I don't believe in organized religion. If God exists, it doesn't exist in the context of how humans describe it. Is my position. But that's if it exists. I don't really believe a God exists. If everything that we've experienced in life passes away or dies, I don't understand why, if there even was a God, it would not be subject to death itself. And I mean like permanent death. So a lot of people, in my opinion, cling to this idea of God because of the fear of death. And I guess that's understandable. But creating this entire paradigm around your death is a waste of life, in my opinion. There's too much time to be spent living to spend every day of your life worried about dying. Especially if you're gonna create all these rules, regulations, and ordinances about how you're supposed to conduct yourself, and then just don't do any of that shit. Like, what is the point? What is the point in creating all these rules and regulations and having all these principles and properties and what we're supposed to do and not supposed to do and how we're supposed to live and what's good and what's not, if you're just gonna ignore all of the stuff that you wrote? Why did society make a bunch of rules that they didn't want us to actually adhere to, and then get mad at us individually if we try to obey the rules that they gave to us. Like, kids are just running around playing, living their life, chilling, being happy. And then adults come running over, don't do this, don't do that, because of this reason and that reason, and these are these reasons why you should this and this and that, blah, 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 blah. And then when you become an adult and you start trying to do that stuff, they're like, what's wrong with you? Are you broken? What's wrong? Why are you waiting for the light to cross the street? Why do you have an umbrella? Why are you doing like all the stuff that was taught to you when you were younger? Why are you listening to that stuff now that you're an adult? You're an adult. You don't have to do any of this stuff. It's like, well, I'm competent enough to understand why these things were necessary, and I don't see any reason not to do that. So why would I not pay my rent? Why would I not pay my car insurance? Why would I not try to save? Why would I not try to find a job that's going to pay me 2.5 times my living expense? I was given the information to operate from, and now that I'm operating from it, you want to try to convince me that I'm retarded, that I'm stupid, that I have ADHD, that I don't know how to function? Like, for what? Because if you are a responsible person, irresponsible people cannot benefit from you being responsible. That is the reason for that. If you obey traffic laws, the police can't pull you over and give you a ticket. If they can't pull you over and give you a ticket, how are they supposed to make money? And that's just the reality of the world. That's just how things work. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. time to do anything other than, well, there's some stuff that I do need to get done. So I'm being honest. Let's turn this way. should do it 6 miles a day. I think I'm going to. I think what. Yeah. Three, oh, five. Okay. I bought a book, and I think I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna read one of the chapters from it. It's a book for writing. That book. Excuse me. I'm going to. I need to find. Okay. Let's do. Set publications. I think that's Okay, so I gotta go run. This is cool. You know, alright, I'm gonna be late for work if I don't go right now. So I gotta go right now. It's 3 o'clock. I gotta be out of here by 5. I should have enough time. It's gonna be close. Hopefully I won't be late. Time management. But considering that I was gonna go back to sleep, I would say that staying up, time management's pretty good right now. Let's go. fall so far from me. And now, because of the fall, selected memory, you built the wall, 20-foot wall, so I couldn't see. But if I get off my knee, let go, 20-foot tall. Ooh. I'm 20-foot tall. Yeah. My love, what did I do to make you fall so far from me? I can't recall. It's fine. Shouldn't take longer than an hour. It is 3 o'clock. A little bit of disregard. Half the place podcast of honor and see me start. What you might want to say, and I never doubt. A little bit of loneliness, a little bit of disregard, a handful of complaints, and I can't help the fact that everyone can see these scars. I want you to want, which I want you to feel. And like no matter what I'm convinced with this shoe that this believe this is real. So I let go of launching you, turn your back like I always do. Take the faith in the temper, and I'm not. I can't in the way I did before. Don't turn your back on me. No, turn your back on me. I won't be ignored. I am a little bit lonely, a little bit unconfident in what I can and times that don't make sense. I don't want to say, but I never had a doubt. Just to hear me out, so I let go of watching you. You always do. I hear you all I got. I can't say the way I did before. Don't turn your back on me. Time won't take. I won't be ignored. Hear me out now. They're gonna listen to me like it or not. Don't turn your back on me. Baby, ignore her. I like it today. I did before. Come in. Oh, say you should need more. I won't ignore her. Can't fade. Can you stay into my life?